Well, welcome to Ask Paul, and I've got probably the most popular question I'm always asked, and I've got two of them. And my first one comes from, this is Carol Turtle, and she asks, I have two endless summer hydrangeas in my yard, and I'm wondering how and when to trim them. Some people say February, but then I'm not sure if that's true or not. I would appreciate your help in the matter. Thank you, Carol. And the next one, we could tie these together because it's kind of, when I explain this, all will be apparent. Hello, Paul. I have two hydrangea bushes that have never flowered. What am I doing wrong? If I don't get flowers, I'm pulling them out. Well, that sounds a bit drastic, doesn't it? Well, let's look at the two most popular types of hydrangea that grow in your yard. There are, in fact, many, but the two that I see most of are the macrophyllars and the panicles. The panicle ones are those ones that come out white, cone-shaped flowers, and they turn pink as it gets colder. But the macrophyllars are the ones that people really want to have help with. This is one right in front of me, and it happens to be an endless summer variety. Now, I didn't prune it for 2 years. I was just hoping it might actually flower a bit more. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I'm up here at quite an elevation in Clark's Summit, and the wind comes around here, so we have a lot of dieback during the winter. So what you've got to realize is that these macrophylla hydrangeas, they flower on last year's buds. They have to get through the winter, and that's where the problem comes. If it's in a very cold spot, then these flowers, now I'm looking at this stem there, I'm just going to scratch it. This is last year's stem. It's still pretty green in there. But if I look at the flower buds, they seem very dry. So already our winter, even though it hasn't been very cold yet, has damaged the flower buds. Now, let's talk about endless summer. Endless summer and some of the new varieties can actually flower on new growth, but they take a while to get going. And to be honest, I haven't had a lot of luck. This plant here, I had 2 flowers last year, and for a plant of this size, it really isn't worth it. It did set a few new flowers later in the season, but the cold got to it too quickly and it never flowered. Most of our areas are a little bit too cold for them, and you won't get the flowers you really want. So I would switch to the panicled hydrangeas, and I think you'll be much more successful. All right, so when does it come time to prune a macrophylla? Well, you really don't want to do it in the winter. Come the spring, let the shoots come, and then you can see what's alive and what's dead. If it's really low to the ground, then the chances of flowers go down. If it looks like it's shooting higher up, then the chances of getting flowers are very, very high. So February is not right, and in my experience, in my location, I would probably dig it up and give it to somebody else. I've already removed 2 of them in my yard, and this one's life here in my yard is somewhat limited. But if you have a friend who's got a warmer place in the river valley where it stays a little bit warmer with the sun against the wall and protects it, then you might want to dig it up and give it to them. So there we go. Ask Paul. If you've got any questions, remember, ask Paul at wnep.com, and I'll be happy to answer them. Now, bear in mind, we get lots of questions, and I try and bundle them together, and when we get a chance, I will answer them, hopefully just like I've done now.